Hope you guys are doing good tonight. We'll start in a second over here, pretty soon. Esperemos que todos estén bien esta noche. Empezamos aquí en un segundo. Good night to all. This is Edson Tena, retired Commander and Mayor from Edson Consulting at EdsonConsultation.com. Again, from Edson Consulting at EdsonConsultation.com. Buenas noches a todos. Este es el sargento mayor retirado Edson Tena de Edson Consulting at EdsonConsultation.com. Me pueden enviar ahí un mensaje privado. Gracias por tuning esta noche. Thank you so much for tuning tonight. We're going to go right into it. And before I start, I'm going to stretch out over here for a second. Tonight's going to be a little bit hot. So, I'm going to stretch out. We're going to get ready to rumble. We're going to get some people to tune in. Alright, I'm going to stretch out a little bit. Un poquito de calistenia aquí para todos esos que saben lo que es. So, again, good night. We're going to go right into it. Tonight the topic is going to be a little bit different, and before I start, I want to give shout out to my wife, my sponsor. You can find her at 7heavenboutique.com, also on Facebook. She has her own business. We're trying to move this thing forward, so please share these videos. Please, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to create a network to help veterans out there, so we can connect and we can share experiences and knowledge. That's what I'm trying to do. That's the reason I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to make it a little bit fun. I'm not really tech savvy, but I'm learning myself. That's the reason I take a pause to make sure everything is working. Gotta go to YouTube. I'm not making any excuses. I'm here, I'm making it happen. So, but please go to YouTube, subscribe to my channel. The topics that we're talking is to enhance your knowledge so you can become a better service member, and also so you can have a better transition from military to civilian life. That's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. Taking my headphones off here. So that's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm trying to create an environment that we can help each other out, service members, so we can actually share our experiences and our knowledge, so we can actually become better and we can take the advantage that the system have for us. And when I'm talking about advantage, I'm talking about the entitlements that you have that a lot of service members don't know that they have. And it's really important that you understand that. I'll do the first half in English and then I transition to Spanish for those Spanish speakers, especially in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, all those service members out there, Hispanic, so they can understand the message a little bit better, okay? Again, tonight I'm coming hot. Every time you see this red hat right here, that means that I'm coming hot. And I'm coming hot because a lot of topics that are happening out there, and I am tired of the system. And I'm not talking about any specific person, I'm talking about the system. The system is designed to work. They just make that clear. And when I'm talking about the system, I'm talking about, we're going to talk a little bit about tonight about promotions and awards, and I'm going to give you my experience. And the reason I want to give you my experience because I've seen it over and over again. And until we understand how the system works, it's going to keep happening to us, so we have to do something. The only way we can do something is of what we're doing. We're sharing knowledge. United, we're stronger. This is not a one-man fight here, a one-man fight. Everybody together is stronger. I just got a call a couple of minutes before I started the live from a good friend of mine. I don't know, he's connected, Mikey, and he was telling me, you know, how he finally is going to get his retirement pension from the reserve from the Navy, and that bring me joy because I was able to help him out. There's a lot of service members out there that have no knowledge, or they have minimum knowledge of actually how to get your benefits. That is the reason I am doing that, okay? That is the reason that I'm doing that. If you hear a sound effect, that means I'm trying to test my system over here, so just work with me. a second. So we're gonna talk tonight again about promotions and awards. Before I go to that, what am I been doing these last couple of days? Been still helping with VA claims. That's the most people are asking me for, to help with VA claims. I'm still doing notarizing in the Central Florida area. If you're living in the area, please let me know. I can meet you and I can do the services. I always tell this in my programs. I am not representing any government entity. I am not sponsored or paid by the US government. This is based on my experience. This is a registered business. This is a consulting business. I have 27 years in the federal government, and I do have a lot of experience. So I'm talking from experience. I know the system. Those that ask, how do you say that? I know the system. I've been working on the system. I'm 100% total and permanent disabled, and I'm still working with the government. I'm just gonna put it there. I mean, you wanna believe me or not, I mean, it's up to you. That's the reason I do these videos. I know I've been to the good, the bad, and the ugly, and I know how the system works, and I'm here to help you so you can get your benefits and your entitlements. So that's what I've been doing this last couple of weeks. Last week, no questions. I went to my YouTube channel. Again, subscribe. Tell people about this. If you have veterans out there that need help with VA claims, transitioning from the military to civilian, federal resumes, benefits, retirement consultation, 401k consultation, please reach out. Give me my information. I want to help. I want to become a force multiplier for those out there. And I'm gonna start with this tonight. I'm telling you, I'm heated up tonight. I am heated up and I'm heated up. This is some guys out there. Those veterans out there have been in combat. Don't worry about it. This is just me trying to make it fun here. Listen, one of the things that I put in my announcement for this video is, it's not who you were, it's who you are now. What do I mean with that? I mean with this is that a lot of us go through our careers and we make it through the ranks, and after we retire, we hang the hat. We don't want to do anything else. And I think that's sad because we gain so much experience and knowledge, and if you leave that in the closet, it doesn't do any good. You have to share that knowledge to other people. That's the reason I'm doing this. Moving forward, I'm connecting to other veterans out there. I met good friends of mine from Italy. With their permission later, that I'll send them messages. We're gonna be promoting each other. I have a friend of mine, great chiropractor in Orlando. This other person that I met while I was in Italy, he's a retired master sergeant. My son Ortiz, he has a business right now, also a nonprofit. Actually, it's a nonprofit organization helping veterans outreach out there with suicide prevention. And listen, we have to help each other. This is all we have. Okay? When the system fails, okay, this is all we have, each other. When we got a battle, the only reason I fight is because I want to go home, number one, and number two, I care about my friend beside me. And I'm pretty sure that's the same reason you do it, because we all believe in the same principle of freedom, and this is where we are. This is what makes the US so special. And listen, I want you guys to comment. I'm gonna go right into the topic. Last week, really quick, we talked about law enforcement retirement benefits, specifically about 6C retirement benefits, and those are covered positions. We talked about that just to recap a little bit. And I talked about the difference between being covered and non-covered, and what agency you can jump from one agency to the other so you can make sure you get your benefits. I'm gonna do another live specifically about non-covered positions. And this is pretty much good for my brother Caban and Campos that are listening right now. And those positions do not have an age limit, okay? So you can join those positions 40, 45, even 50. I have a coworker, she's a great worker, and she is 60 something, and she came in late, but you can do 10, 20 years, you get a percentage of your retirement, you're working for the government, you get your medical benefits, and you're good to go, and you still get your military retirement from the active duty or reserve if you reach your mandatory retirement age, which for the reserve is 60 unless you deploy. We talked about that before. But those topics is because I want to help you out to become better. The reason I said I was gonna be a little bit heated up, and I'm hoping I don't offend anybody. I'm not going after nobody specific, but I'm gonna call stuff that I'm gonna call it out, stuff that happened to me while in service. I'm not gonna say names. I'm not even gonna mention units, to be honest, because those people that serve with me know what I went through actually to make it to the ranks, especially, and I'm gonna open with this. When you have the active duty component, the competition to make it to the ranks is the same as National Guard and Reserve. But what I seen is when I transitioned from the active duty, I was already an E7. So I had 12 years at the time. And I made E7 in 9 years. I was pretty much fast tracking. But when I transitioned to the Army Reserve, for me it was a shock that it was so difficult for me to make it to E8. And I'm gonna go into there because tonight we're gonna cover a little bit about promotions. And the AR for that is 600-8.9. You can read it at your lecture. So one of the things that happened to me, and I'm talking about promotions, and we're gonna talk about the end, the stuff that I can help you with Commander's Inquiry for your evaluation, which I got a phone call from a friend of mine that he needs some help, and that's when you contest your evaluation, your NCOER. There's a process for that. Because I am sick and tired of us hardworking soldiers, service members, that we bend backwards and then we get what we don't deserve. I think we deserve better, and the only way we're gonna do this is fighting the system by the book, per the regulations. So one of the things that happened to me, I came from active duty. I was supporting SF for 4 years, supporting special forces. I was on number status. I got my buddy Campos there. He's a jump master too. I think he's a master blaster. I want to say that. He got the reps. I only got the star. I only did like 50 some jumps. So you have to go to schools for that. My point is that your record, your resume becomes your voice. And everything that you accomplish when you transition to civilian, that's gonna be your record. That's gonna be your resume. That's what's reflecting of your career. So one of the things that I saw was how hard it was for me to make it to E8, and I said, how is this so impossible? Because I have a record. I mean, it was impeccable, and I couldn't make it to E8. And I started going to the system. I was already promotable. I was in the position. I did the position as acting first sergeant, and I started seeing some stuff that opened my eyes. And this is where I'm coming. Active duty, those that been there, Caban, Campos, you've seen it. I mean, we have mistreated soldiers. You got racism in the service. I mean, you have all those stuff. That's why you have programs that I'm gonna touch a little bit that protect you for those things. But you as a service member have to understand how the system works. And that's what I'm here. I want to help you. So again, to my story, it was hard for me to understand how hard it was for me. And just to make the story short, I'm not gonna say the unit, and I'm not gonna say it was a high-ranking senior member of the unit. I saw some discrepancies. And pretty much the service member, I found out that was wearing unauthorized awards and decorations. I just said it, was wearing unauthorized awards and decorations. I'm not gonna say the name for respect, because I know this is going on YouTube, and I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but I am sick and tired, I am telling you. You know why I'm sick and tired? Because to this day, I retired in 2020, and I still have not received my retirement award. And I think that's sad. And it's not a reflection of some leadership that work hard. It's in the reflection of the system. And if you let the system beat you, it's gonna beat you, and it's gonna beat you alive. And that's the reason I'm coming open, okay? And I'm gonna give another gunshot in here so you understand where I'm coming from, because I'm sick and tired. I'm gonna give you an example. My body command can attest to this, okay? Caban got an MSM. I put it in for men. That's a military service award, okay, a medal. And it's hard for you to get that award. I was denied, I was downgraded for that award like 3 times. Why? Because I piss some people off. I'll be honest with you, because I'm a stand-up guy and I'm a straight up forward guy. I just gave you part of my resume. I mean, 12 years active, supporting special forces. I was on airborne status for almost 10 years. I was in combat arms. My record speaks by itself. But when you rub somebody wrong, some heads are gonna turn, and you're gonna piss some people off. And I'm over that. I mean, I'm okay with that. I understand. Listen, I'm over that stuff. But since I made it to E9, now that I'm outside of the system, I can help you better. And I'm gonna explain that in a second here. But I'm still waiting for my retirement award. And it's not fault of nobody. It's fault of the system, but behind that system, there's people that their opinion, I said it again, they make it sound that it's stronger than your actual resume in the accomplishment that you did in the service. I'm gonna say it again. There's some people behind the system, okay? Some service members, leaders, that they make these committees or betting who gets an award or not. And I know they can do that per the regulation. I understand, I respect that. But their opinion weighs more than your accomplishments that are written on a paper, that are legit, that you've been in the real deal, you've done the real stuff, and yet they have a voice and opinion on your award. And I tell you, I'm tired of that. I am sick and tired, okay? I mean, a soldier that deserves an award, deserves an award. And I'm just gonna give you an example over here so you understand what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna give you two real quick that I saw, and I said, you know what, it's unbelievable. And I found these two right here. This is private first classes that actually were awarded the Army Commendation Medal with a V device and that for valor. And these guys did awesome stuff. And one of them is specific. You can read it at your lecture, you know. I don't want to talk over here all night about this, but when these soldiers did an act of valor, they give him an ARCOM with a V device because the system is designed to give awards in some form of fashion because of your rank. But when you are lower and enlisted and you did an act of valor in this case, I would have said, you know what, the guy deserved, or the soldier service member deserved a Bronze Star or something higher, but because of the rank, they gave him an ARCOM with a V device. And that's okay, I have no issues with that. But I'm talking about the act of valors that these guys do. And in one of them, which blew my mind, and you can read the article, I think it was this one, no, this other one here. This guy got a Purple Heart, he has two ARCOMs, and one of them is with a V device. But this other guy right here, when he's talking about the actual event that happened 2 years later, he's talking about here, his sergeant, his E5 supervisor asked him, did you get any medals about it? 2 years after the fact that he did something heroic, and nobody did anything about it. I'm talking about nobody put him for an award. And this guy did, you can read the article. I mean, he returned fire. I mean, you can read the whole chalaki here. And I'm saying, how is this possible? But I'm telling you, it happens over and over and over again, okay? And again, I'm not throwing anybody under the bus, but I've seen a lot of good service members out there that have earned their promotions and their awards. I have seen it myself. There's no doubt. This is for nobody specific. But there's some soldiers and service members that get the end of the stick because the system is designed that way. And we have to break that. We are the ones that do that. Because when you serve your country for so long and you put your line of fire, when you put your life in the line of fire and you're willing to die, I mean, we deserve better. And that's the reason I do this, because I want to help you out. If this happened to you, service members out there, I want to help you out. I'm retired, Sergeant Major. I mean, I can help you out with whatever kind of investigation we want to do. I've done it before, I've done it myself. And I made it to E9 that way. It was hard. That situation that I told you that I happened in one of the units, I'm not gonna get into detail, but They ended up giving me a promotion in Mississippi. I had to travel 9 hours every weekend just to get the promotion. In other words, because I complained, they said, okay, you know what? You want to complain? Here's a promotion. They sent me to Mississippi. I took it. So for me to make it to E9, to give you the short version, and this is in the reserves, you have to compete. That's just the way it is. Your resume has to be online. You have to have education. I have my degree. That's the reason I finished my degree, to compete with those that are in the same level. Making it to E9 is not easy, guys. And you guys that are being in the survey, it's not easy. More in the National Guard and Reserve. And somebody posted this, you know, to make fun of it, and that's awesome. But to make it E9 is over here. The Sergeant Major of the Army, of course, you know, we know that. But to make it to E9 is a big achievement in the military. Okay, this is all the ranks. This is what you go to. I know a lot of friends here made it to E7. I mean, some of you guys are E7 right now, and I know how hard it is to make it to E8. But the reason I'm saying is you have to know how to use the system for your advantage. If you don't fight, you have to fight back. That's what I did. That's the only reason I made it to E9. There's some good service members out there that make it, but there's some others that they put a lot of ink on those evaluations. And when you compare the evaluation with their performance, there's not even close, okay? But to make it to E9, to make the story short, I interviewed for like 6 positions, and I went further as North Carolina or Georgia because I wanted to get promoted. I wanted to get promoted to E9. That's one of my goals. And I thank the first MSC in Puerto Rico that gave me an opportunity to actually to get promoted to command sergeant major and to actually to command a unit, okay? But my point to this is the promotion system is designed to promote the best qualified service members. It's designed that way. But when you start going to the National Guard and some reserve units, I said again, some reserve units, I want to make that clear. Not all of them. There's connections, there are cliques, more in the National Guard. If you start listening to National Guard stories in Puerto Rico, you'll be surprised the stuff that you're gonna hear about. And I'm not gonna talk in details because that's not my forte, okay? That's not my forte. But what I saw over and over and over again is service members that make it to higher rank, to the higher echelons and ranking, and they don't want to move from the area. That's all they know, that geographical area. So how are you going to learn knowledge of what the system is if you don't move around? How are you going to become a well-known soldier with knowledge? You have to move around. You have to branch out. That's the only way. But yet, they put everything they can on the NCOR in that evaluation, and you say, well, okay, this is impossible. And that's how you're competing against, which is the system, and it's almost near impossible to compete against the system. I fought the system. I fought it all the way through, okay? And I'm gonna transition a little bit here to awards, okay? So if you have any comments, just give me comments. I mean, we're gonna talk a little bit about awards here, okay? And I know a lot of you guys can relate. Awards is the AR600.8-22. Again, AR600-8-22. That's the regulation. And I'm gonna give you my experience with awards. I just talked to some of them. I think it's sad that we have service members that earn and they meet the criteria for certain awards, and they have to wait years to get it. That's the same that happened with Medal of Honors. I mean, we have Medal of Honors that are not given to those recipients, and some of them unfortunately die, and they have to give it to a family member. Because at some point, these awards become, I hate to say it, and I hate to say it this way, become political, which is sad. Why? Because these awards have to make it to all the way to the top, and they get vetted every step of the way So every person, every leader has a different perspective of the award and the accomplishment of that service member. And that is hard. That is hard and that is hard. When an award is put into the system by a commander, a battalion commander signs it, a brigade commander signs it. If it's an ARCOM, it stays to the brigade level. If it's an MSM, goes to the first commanding general, 1-star command. But I just don't understand why these awards get kicked back 300 times with different corrections, and yet the soldiers get discouraged and they don't get the award. I'm going to give you one and this happened to me while I was a command sergeant major. I'm going to give you a good one, and this is a reality that's happening, and the only way we can fix this is actually, complaining. That's all you can do. But you have to do it in writing, and this is the stuff that I'm gonna, when I close out here in a second, in a couple of minutes. We had a soldier that was active duty. He became a reservist. He did 25 plus years TPU status. For me, a soldier or a retirement award should be given, right, to those that serve, of course, 20 years. But for me, at least a retirement award, E7 and above, at least that should be, even E6, I will say that, E6, they should get an MSM, okay? That's my opinion. What I don't understand is, and don't get mad with me what I'm gonna say here, I said some because it's the key here. I'm not saying all of you, but I've known so AGR soldiers that PCS from one unit to the other, and they get an MSM. And I'm like, how is that even possible? I mean, how do you compare a soldier that served 25, 26, 27 years, and yet somebody in the chain of command downgrade the award to an ARCOM, but yet that soldier in E5 gets an MSM? How is that even possible? Those are the battles that I was fighting when I was a command sergeant major, and I could not understand it. And I'm going to tell you what it is. It's the opinion of somebody, I said it at the beginning, of some ranking service member out there, that their opinion weighs more than the accomplishments of the service member. And I don't agree with that. I am sorry. I don't. Accomplishments are accomplishments. Okay? The rank does have some weight to it. I do understand. But I believe we and the system needs to get better with awards. Okay? I'm going to give you another example. And this is the stuff that happened to me. No offense to my leadership that I serve with, because they've been awesome to me. And I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart. But I was part of the system too. Okay? So for the combat action badge, for those that know the regulation, even if you have a mortar that landed, I think it's 15, 25 meters, you get the combat action badge. Those that been hurt, I know my friend Campos has a Purple Heart. I know he got hurt. But you qualify for the combat action badge, okay? And that happened to me on one occasion, and even the first round, I remember at the time, asked me, hey, are you going to be putting for a combat action badge? And I said, I don't know, you tell me. I was an E6 and E7 at the time. And I said, I don't do that. That's the leadership that's supposed to do it. So that was number one. That was number one. Combat action badge, gone. Never got it. The combat jump in Iraq. And I said, I kicked myself in the butt for this one. And I make fun of myself because a combat jump is that combat jump that you want to have if you a paratrooper. And I know a lot of my friends from the 173rd out there that you guys jumped. And that jump itself, at some point, it became, and I say I couldn't believe it because they scratched me out of the manifest. And when I'm talking about scratch me, it's because it was a reason they did it. I'm not blaming anybody, but I'm talking about the system, okay? And I was so mad because I said, man, that is the combat jump that you want to have when you're urban status. And those are the other parts of it, like campus. That's the jump that you want. So I even talked to the senior NCO of the shop at the time, and he said, "Man, there's nothing I can do." My point is that I was the NBC NCO. We went to Iraq, and what was the expectation over there? That they have weapons of mass destruction. I was the NBC NCO of the battalion, and I couldn't jump because I had a mission. I'm not going to talk about the stuff in here, but my point is that was another one that I got screwed. I got the end of the stick, to be honest. I'm sorry. I apologize for that word that I used. I got the end of the stick on it. I talked about the combat action badge, downgraded. Well, I never got it, by the way. I mean, and they never put in for it, even though I qualified. And I also talked about how many times I've been putting for MSMs and they've been downgraded. I have eight archons right now, 8 or 9. I forgot the count. Because they got downgraded so many times that I forgot the count, and you know what, I retired. The only reason I wear my uniform now, and I'll be honest with you, is if a service member died and I knew the person, I said to myself and committed to myself to go to the funeral if I can, or to the funeral service. So that's the reason I have my uniform. That's the reason I keep the uniform up to date. That's the reason I try to keep my weight down so I can fit in the uniform. So, excuse me, so those are out there that make sure you can stay in some kind of shape so you can fit in your uniform. So I just told you my experience, but it's sad that we have to go through this. And the reason I said this is because I want to help you for those that are still in the service. One of the things that I went through is congressional complaints. Okay, this is one of the topics that a lot of people don't want to talk about, but when you exhaust or you route to actually to address the issue and the leadership doesn't wanna, or you seen or you don't understand that they don't want to fix the issue, you can put what is called a congressional complaint. I can help you with that. I've done it before. It worked for me. Make sure that you document everything. I tell this to all my friends out there, service members. It's not what you said, it's what you can prove. I said it again. It's not what you said, it's what you can prove. So document everything. Do everything in writing. Okay, so congressional complaints are also an opinion or an option, I will say, for military members who feel wrong, or something that happened wrong within the military. So that some wrongdoing that happened to you as a person. So you can complain. You have to make sure everything is lined up. I can help you with that. Another thing is Inspector General's complaint. It's an IG complaint, and that's under the first commanding general command. He does have a staff that does this. I think it's a lieutenant colonel and an EA. Don't quote me on it. I've been out for a little bit. But those are the persons that can actually help you with any types of investigations that have to do with involving allegations of employee misconduct, fraud, waste, and abuse. That's some of them. Okay. The other one is EO complaint, and those are allegations of discrimination because of race, color, religion, national origin, or sex, including sexual harassment and sexual orientation, age, physical or mental handicap. So I just want to put this video out there because I think it's important, and I just give you a little piece of what happened to me. And I'm not saying this to piss nobody off, but I think we deserve better. I think that we have fought hard for our rights. I think we have fought hard for who we are. I think that we demonstrate every day that we're willing to serve this country. And I'm talking about special Hispanic and other ethnicities, you know, races, all the races. I have my buddy here, Wednesday too. He's serving in the Navy, and I know how hard it is to be a Hispanic, a color service member, and to go to the service. I've been there. I lived it. I mean, I could not understand what racism was because I'm from Puerto Rico. And in Puerto Rico, you have black, you got Indians, and you got Spaniards. That's our mixture. It's a crazy mixture. That's why we're crazy, right? I'm just kidding. So when I joined the military, I did not understand what racism was until I lived it. So I could not understand why sometimes was segregation I could not understand it. I started learning about it when I was on the service. So for me, that was a culture shock. But my point is, we live this, we surround by this, we get mistreated, and yet we don't do nothing. That's what I'm here for. Okay? That was my experience as in promotions and awards. And I want to tell you, there's always a solution. Be open. Give opportunity to the chain of command to fix your issues. You know, speak up to your leadership. If they don't want to listen to you, write it. Send them an email. Start documenting. Eventually, if an investigation starts, what they're going to ask you is, they're not going to ask you to start talking. They will interview you, but they're going to ask you, what kind of documentation do you have to prove that your allegations are true? And one other thing they're going to ask you are emails. Do you have emails? Can you prove it? What is the paperwork? And I give you an example. Good example. You're in TPU status, this is reservist National Guard, right? And you get hurt. Okay, you get hurt, and the medical bill is supposed to be paid by the government because it happened while you were on duty. You do a line of duty investigation, they do the paperwork, they submit it to the chain of command, and you start getting bills that you're not supposed to get, and they messed up your credit. That's a good example. Can you complain? Yes, I've seen that happen. I have friends of mine that right now is happening to them right now. And what do? You address it to the leadership. Sometimes they have too much on their plate and they don't want to deal with it. Before you know they're gone, new leadership comes in. 2 years afterwards, your credit scores get messed up, and then you have to deal with that stuff. That is sad. But the way you address the stuff is you have to bring it up. You cannot hold it. I mean, you have to bring this stuff up. Because if not, nothing is going to happen. I talked about a lot of stuff here about leadership, and a lot of people think that leadership is something that's given with a rank. I just gave you, God have given me the grace to make it 29, to make it, and I made it 29, and it was quite an adventure. But a lot of people think that leadership is given by a position, and it's not. You have to earn that respect. And I wrote a couple things here to close it out and go into Spanish, and is lead by example. If you want others to respect you and to follow you, you have to lead from the front. I'm always been a heavy set guy, okay? I've always struggled with my weight, and this is what I'm sad with this. But I have always passed my PFT in the height and weight. My friend Campos is there still. He knows we used to run our deans up and down, urban cadences. But I was always a heavy set. I mean, it was hard for me sometimes to keep the weight. Sometimes I barely passed the tape test, and that's what they they measure your neck and your waist. But I never give up. Sometimes in the runs, Campos is there. He can say, a test for me. I fell out of the run. And I was put into the first round office, and they shoot your butt off, because to be a paratrooper, you have to be a strong runner. But I never quit, okay? When I became and I started going up the ranks, I understood that leading by example meant for me to be in a level higher than the people I was over. And that meant to be in better shape. That meant to be or have better knowledge. And that's what leadership is. Treat others with respect. You want to treat others the way you want to be treated. If you want to earn the respect of the soldiers. And if you want to become a good leader. Respect is earned, not given. It's not who you were, it's who you are now. I talked about that. A lot of people serve, they make it to higher ranking positions, and then they retire from the military, and they're done. Listen, we're better than that, man. Those of you that's still in the service, man, come on, get involved, do something, help some other service members out there. There's so much to do. Never forget those who fought for our country. And I put this one in here for those that know me. If you can handle the fire, get out of the kitchen. Meaning if you can handle the pressure, that means you're not caught to be a leader. And when I'm talking about leader, I'm talking about as you start moving up the chain of command and you start making it to the ranks. So that's pretty much it. If you guys don't have any questions, you can, if you don't have any questions now, make sure you post them. I'll answer them on the next live. I'm gonna start transitioning to Spanish here in a second, but thank you. I wanna listen from your comments, okay? If you have anything in specific, please let me know. I know Caban is kind of quiet, man. I was expecting to say something today, but he's super quiet, man. I was expecting for you to say something. So, again, thank you so much. I'm gonna start transitioning to Spanish. Thank you so much. And I really appreciate you guys tuning in. And I'm gonna start transitioning to Spanish here in a second, okay? Muy buenas noches, es el sargento mayor retirado de comando Ed Centeno. Estoy transicionando aquí en español. Acabo de hablar por unos 25 minutos, diría, de un tema bien interesante. Estaba hablando del sistema de promociones y de awards o decoraciones en el ejército. Hablé de la experiencia que he tenido, de los amargos momentos que también he vivido. Y lo estoy haciendo no por ¿cómo se dice eso? De apuntar el dedo a nadie. Lo estoy haciendo porque el hermano aquí dice, I'm tired, I don't want to offend anyone. Que estoy cansado y no quiero ofender a nadie. Hermano, yo pasé por eso. I went through that. Y algunas veces entendí, sometimes I understood that the only way you can make a change is doing something. Y de la única manera que tú puedes hacer algo es, y esta es la mejor analogía que puedo poner es como te dije temprano, que creo que te mandé un texto, es shaking the tree, tú sabes, moviendo el árbol. ¿Por qué? Porque cuando uno trabaja tan fuerte en el sistema y de verdad no te dan lo que tú mereces, es bien agobiante y eso desmoraliza tu motivación. Y no tan solo eso, entonces eso le va a suceder a los que están debajo de ti y va a afectar a los soldados. Y eso es bien difícil, ¿ok? So por eso es que yo estoy aquí. Tú sabes que estamos aquí para ayudarnos, mi hermano. Una historia rapidito de Caban y yo sé que él se puede relacionar con esto. Caban y yo estuvimos en una unidad como 3 años. Yo era el primer sargento en aquel tiempo. Y Caban era AGR, que es activo en la unidad. Y Caban se le hizo bien difícil conseguir una plaza para ir al promotion board o para presentarse a ¿cómo se dice eso? Para promover. Y entonces yo le dije, Caban, vamos a buscar. Y él me dijo, mira, este comando está haciendo este promotion board o asamblea para promocionar, y cuando único una asamblea es algo que es actualizado, eso tiene que ir por el récord, hay un sargento mayor, hay unos presidentes del consejo, por decirlo así, y él tiene que presentarse en un uniforme. Y me recuerdo como hoy mismo, y yo le dije, pues Caban, si hay vamos. Caban y yo nos montamos en un auto, nos fuimos los dos, nosotros del bolsillo de nosotros, y él puede ser testigo de esto. Guiamos, creo que fueron como 3 horas, si no me equivoco, y Caban se presentó, y Caban pasó el board, y Caban pudo promover. Pero esas son las cosas que algunas veces uno tiene que hacer como líder para que alguien promueva. Y son pocas las personas que están dispuestas a hacer eso. Y por eso es que yo estoy haciendo lo que estoy haciendo. Me hizo ese comentario aquí, hoy es uno de esos días que no soporto con la gente que trabaja, porque son mal agradecidos. Mi hermano, créemelo, yo he estado ahí muchas veces. Y de verdad el sistema en Fort Gordon, Georgia, ahí fue que fuimos Caban y yo para que él promoviera. Pero esas son las cosas que yo hacía para ayudar a los soldados a que, ¿sabes? Que cogieran lo que de verdad ellos merecían. Esas eran las cosas yo como líder. Por eso yo digo que yo prefiero hacer amistades que duran toda la vida. Y esas son las amistades que yo hago. Pero para hablar rápido, voy a ir directamente al tema. hablé de las promociones, que eso está la regulación AR 600-8-9, y también de decoraciones. Entonces di mi experiencia porque yo no entendía qué difícil se me hacía de subir de 7 a 8 en la reserva cuando ya yo había llegado a rango de 7 en activo, en el componente activo, y con el récord que yo tenía, o con el expediente que yo tenía. Yo era paracaidista, fui paracaidista por casi 10 años, hice E7 en menos de como en 9 años, o yo estaba progresando bien avanzadamente, pero no entendí por qué no podía promover a 8. Entonces me empecé a darle cuenta y empezaba a verse mis ojos de las cosas que estaban sucediendo en la unidad. Hablé no orientándome a la unidad como tal, pero que una persona de alto rango, yo no voy a faltarle respeto a nadie, pero son cosas que me pasaron. Y me di de cuenta que esta persona estaba utilizando unas cosas en su uniforme que cuando empezamos a tener conversaciones de verdad no comprendía, porque si Campos ahora mismo, yo no sé si Campos todavía está ahí, pero si Campos ahora mismo yo le pregunto qué es una línea estática, o what is a static line, o cuál es el safety pin en aquel tiempo, o qué era en aquel tiempo Ripcord Grip Protector, que era lo que se ponía en la reserva, porque si él puede estar ahí, no sé si todavía está ahí, que un John Master tuvo un accidente y fue un accidente bien feo. Usted puede buscar esta información en Google. Entonces podemos hablar el mismo lenguaje, ¿verdad? Entonces nos podemos reflexionar de las experiencias que hemos tenido. Entonces yo puedo decir, Campo definitivamente estuvo en servicio, él está hablando el mismo lenguaje que yo hablo, él estuvo en las mismas escuelas que yo estuve. Pero cuando yo empecé a hablar de esta persona, mi hermano, you know, I love you, brother. I love you, man. I love you. I'm going to give you an applause for that one. Okay? I'm going to give you an applause for that one. So, tenemos que hablar de esto porque si no hablamos de esto, entonces, ¿quién va a corregir el asunto? Pues esta persona, pues estaba utilizando unas cosas que yo tenía en mi uniforme, que todavía tuve. Algunas de las personas que están aquí se pueden relacionar. Yo fui a la escuela paracaidista, fui a la escuela de asalto aéreo y fui a la escuela de John Master, que yo sé que mi hermano Campos o personas que están ahí, they've been John Master School, and John Master School is not an easy school. I have a lot of friends that have been to Ranger School. Tengo muchas personas que fueron a la escuela de Ranger. Yo estuve apoyando fuerzas especiales por 4 años. So, yo puedo hablar ese lenguaje. Yo puedo hablar de personas que fueron a la escuela en Key West de buceo, el Diving School, personas que se graduaron. Tuve un capitán en mi detalle o en mi detachment que era Scuba Qualified, que fue a la escuela. So, entonces uno se empieza a relacionar con ese lenguaje. Y para hacer la historia corta, esta persona empezó a hablar y de verdad se estaba tirando unos embustes que ni el Chapulín Colorado se lo creía. Entonces, mi punto es que yo empecé a ver una discrepancia y eso a mí me puso de una manera que yo no entendía. Entonces empecé a ver cómo de verdad funcionaba el sistema. No todas las ramas son así, no todos los componentes, pero algunas veces pasa. Y quiero traer este tema a colación para que vean que estas cosas suceden y usted tiene que protegerse. Pues para hacer la historia corta, esta persona básicamente la mandaron a retirar y no voy a entrar en detalle porque no quiero ofender a nadie. Yo sé lo que hicieron y lo que hicieron fue una embarretada, como eso en Puerto Rico, y pusieron el asunto debajo de una alfombra para proteger al general. Yo no soy tonto, yo estuve en servicio, llevo 27 años trabajando con el servicio. Para aquellos que no saben, yo no estoy diciendo esto para hacerme y vanagloriarme. Yo sé que Caban sabe mi historial. Yo he trabajado y yo he luchado contra el sistema, contra la corrupción. Yo he luchado contra cosas que suceden. Tengo mi pana ahí. Osvaldo Morales, mi hermano, está aquí. Ave María, ahora sí que se puso esto bueno. Pero yo vi esas cosas, entonces me di cuenta que el sistema está diseñado para que funcione, pero que hay algunas personas detrás del sistema que se camuflajean y entonces, en otras palabras, quieren saber más que uno. Y yo sé que yo tengo a Campo ahí, tú sabes lo difícil que es coger la estrella en las alas de paracaidistas. Eso es una escuela de 3 semanas, tú tienes que hacer unos duties, tú tienes que tener sobre 32 brincos, si no que me equivoco, ahora mismo no me recuerdo, y es un proceso eso, y tienes que tener órdenes para eso. Pero me di cuenta del sistema y me di cuenta de que había corrupción y me quejé. Tuve que poner una investigación, me quejé. Y entonces yo dije, no lo podía creer. Entonces ellos, para cubrirse, lo que hicieron fue, me promovieron en Mississippi. En otras palabras, dice, bueno, tú te quieres quedar, pues vamos a promoverte, pero me promovieron en Mississippi. Yo estuve viajando para Mississippi por 2 años, 9 horas. Yo me iba para los triles de la reserva los viernes. Llegaba a Mississippi como a las 11 de la noche para trabajar sábado y domingo. Regresaba y algunas veces llegaba al estacionamiento del trabajo dormido. Mi esposa es testigo de esto. Por 2 años. Por una injusticia que nunca nadie tuvo los pantalones para corregirlo. Pero gracias a Dios estoy aquí y llegué. Por eso les digo, yo le puedo ayudar con eso. Yo no voy a faltarle respeto a nadie, yo no voy a traer nombres, yo no voy a traer unidades, pero aquellos saben de lo que estoy hablando. Y esto es lo que me da para entrar un poco de los awards, de las decoraciones, que yo sé mi hermano Osvaldo está ahí. Y yo dije unas palabras bien fuertes aquí en un segundo. Y esto es mi experiencia para volver nuevamente a hablar de promociones. Y es que el sistema de decoraciones funciona. Y la regulación es la 600-8-22. Y Osvaldo, hice el programa en inglés, transicioné a español solamente para recapitular lo que estaba hablando. Entonces, esta regulación funciona. Pero ¿qué sucede? Cuando las decoraciones empiezan a subir de escalones en el comando y cuando empiezan ya entonces a los generales en comando, generales de una estrella, y entonces decoraciones que son MSM, por ejemplo, Military Service Medal, entonces empiezan a hacer unos consejos que sí se puede hacer por regulación, yo no me opongo a eso, pero entonces este es el hincapié que dije en inglés, y quiero decirlo otra vez, pero las opiniones de las personas que están en esas asambleas, las opiniones de ellos tienen más peso de lo que el soldado hizo. Y yo no estoy de acuerdo con eso. Porque las opiniones de estas personas, algunas veces estas personas, tú dices, pero ¿cómo es posible que tú estás diciendo que este soldado no merece esta decoración? Ah, porque no, es lo que lleva son 3 años de servicio, no. Pero entonces te di mi ejemplo. Y yo sé que Osvaldo puede relacionarse con esto y no estoy tirando a ningún comando debajo de la guagua, estoy hablando en general. Y es cómo es posible que un soldado que estuvo en servicio 26, 27 años, es un E6 y un E7, y lo pongan para un MSM, para un MSM, y le den downgrade en ARCOM, y entonces un soldado que es AGR, que es activo, es un E5, y solamente por tener un PCM de una unidad a otra, le dan un MSM, con solamente estando 3 años en una unidad. ¿Cómo es posible? Dígame usted a mí y explíqueme cómo eso es posible. Le estaba diciendo aquí a los compañeros que estamos, yo no estoy juzgando aquí a nadie, yo no estoy juzgando ninguna unidad en específico. Yo estoy diciendo que el sistema tiene que mejorar. Algunas personas, las decoraciones no se las han dado. Yo doy mi ejemplo. Yo no es que esté tirando ningún comando debajo de la guagua, como dicen en inglés, pero ya casi van 2 años. ¿Por qué? Porque hay personas en estas asambleas que aguantan tus decoraciones porque su opinión tiene más peso que el trabajo que hizo un soldado. Y yo no estoy de acuerdo con eso. Yo estoy retirado ya y eso es la experiencia que me pasó a mí. Hablé de promociones, hablé de lo que me pasó con E7, hablé de cómo tuve que pelear el sistema para poder llegar a E9, hablé de lo difícil que se me hizo transicionar de activo a reserva, hice E7 en 9 años activo y se me hacía casi imposible hacer E8. y le di las gracias al comando que me dio la oportunidad de hacer el 9. Pero entonces, mi punto es que algunas veces estás compitiendo con otros compañeros que no tienen tu historial, que no tienen las evaluaciones que tú tienes. Pero entonces, esas personas que están en esas asambleas, por decirlo así, su opinión tiene más peso de tu historial militar. Mire, hermano, yo lo voy a decir con todo mi respeto, de verdad, con todo mi respeto. Voy a dar un slapping aquí para que me entienda, para que entienda lo que estoy hablando. Si nosotros no hablamos de esto, si nosotros no nos quejamos, si nosotros no nos empezamos a dar en la puerta, entonces vamos a hacer resultados o vamos a hacer productos del sistema. Y nosotros somos mejor que eso, por eso es que yo estoy haciendo esto. Yo le doy gracias a Dios que me dio la oportunidad de retirarme. Una de las razones más grandes, a pesar de la razón más grande es estar tiempo con la familia, con mi esposa y con la familia, que me retiré de la reserva, fue porque vi que puedo ayudar a los soldados mejor estando fuera que estando adentro. Porque ahora abiertamente puedo hablar, ahora abiertamente puedo coger un teléfono, puedo llamar a cualquier comando. Yo soy el sargento retirado Edgardo Centeno y yo estoy abogando por este soldado. ¿Qué está pasando? Y yo sé que hay programas allá, mira, yo lo sé, pero ¿sabes qué? Ese es el tipo de persona que yo soy. Y a mí me gusta, aquellos que me conocen, a mí me gusta hacer las cosas por escrito. A mí me gusta hacer evidencia, me gusta tener la evidencia y me gusta que el problema se resuelva. Y esto no es aquí para apuntar a nadie, esto es aquí para resolver los problemas. Nosotros somos mejor que eso. Esa fue mi experiencia y fue una experiencia bien fuerte y yo sé que algunos se pueden relacionar. Hablamos de las decoraciones rápido aquí y una de las cosas que me pasó a mí fue que estaba hablando que para el Combat Action Badge tú cualificas solamente si un mortero cayó como a 25 metros, no me recuerdo, eso me sucedió a mí, no una vez, varias veces y le pasó a muchos soldados. Y el primer sargento me preguntó que si me habían puesto para la decoración y le dije que no, porque yo no sabía. Mi punto es que nunca sucedió y yo nunca estoy para eso, tú sabes, pero es como los soldados pierden. Hablé de soldados, di unos artículos de unos PFC, unos E3 que habían estado en combate y solamente le habían dado un Archon con V-Device por el valor, pero que entonces que yo no entendía cómo no le dan una decoración más alta y es por la política que hay debajo de las decoraciones. Lo he vivido por 25 años que estuve en el ejército y lo vivo todavía que sigo trabajando. No voy a dar detalles de eso. Hablé también del brinco de combate. Yo estuve con una 7-3 y el brinco de combate que tú quieres tener cuando eres paracaidista en una carrera militar no lo pude hacer porque ese brinco en un momento empezaron a sacar a gente del manifiesto. A mí me sacaron, eso fue, y yo estuve allí, yo lo vi. Yo no voy a hablar con detalles de eso, pero también me quitaron o me sacaron del brinco que uno quiere como paracaidista. Lo vi con mis ojos. También estaba hablando de cuántas veces me pusieron para un MSM, que eso es un Military Service Medal, que fueron como 3 veces, y le dieron downgraded a ARCOM, porque yo estaba hablando con mis compañeros, yo digo la verdad en la cara, y cuando digo que digo la verdad en la cara es con respeto, yo no estoy hablando, ¿sabes? Yo estoy hablando con respeto, yo hablo con argumentos, yo hablo con la verdad y la expongo para resolver el problema, no para argumentar y discutir, para resolver el problema. Y por eso muchas veces caigo mal. Y todos estos awards pues me le dieron downgraded. Hasta el día de hoy todavía no he recibido mi decoración de retiro. Están trabajando con eso. Yo no estoy tirando, tú sabes, no estoy directamente direccionando el dedo a nadie, tú sabes. I'm not pointing the finger at anybody. Es parte del sistema, sé cómo funciona, pero lo que no estoy de acuerdo es cuando las opiniones de estas personas que están en estas asambleas, su opinión es más fuerte de lo que el soldado de verdad hizo. Y eso yo no estoy de acuerdo con eso. So, ¿cómo te puedo ayudar en todo esto que hablé? Cosas que tú puedes hacer para ayudarte a ti mismo. Hablé de los Congressional Complaints. Los Congressional Complaints es una opción que tienen los miembros de servicio para cualquier cosa que tú entiendes que sucedió un proceso o si sentiste que se violó una ley o algo, tus derechos como soldado, y esto se hace en un proceso, te puedo ayudar con eso, tengo mucha experiencia con eso. También están lo que se llaman los Inspector General Complaints, eso es cuando investigan que tienen que ver con alegaciones de conducta de soldados, de fraude y de abuso de recursos. También te puedo ayudar con eso. También está lo que se llama las quejas de discriminación que tienen que ver con la raza, el color, la religión, el origen nacional, lo que se llama acoso sexual o orientación sexual, edad física o mental. Y eso es básicamente de lo que hablé esta noche. Dije que estoy haciendo esto porque quiero crear una red de apoyo. Empecé a hablar con personas que tienen sus non-profit o organizaciones sin fines de lucro. Me conecté con amistades que estaban conmigo en Italia, personas que ya son retiradas, que tienen sus organizaciones. Vamos a empezar a traer visitas para entonces nosotros hablar con otras organizaciones, y es para esto mismo, para ayudarnos los unos a los otros. No hay nadie que podamos ayudarnos mejores que nosotros. Nosotros mismos somos los que nos tenemos que ayudar. Yo sé que personas que se conectan conmigo, ellos saben, yo puedo mencionar aquí al mismo Cabán o a Osvaldo Morales, y ellos saben que ellos me pueden llamar a cualquier hora y ellos me piden un favor, yo voy a estar ahí. Ellos me piden algo escrito y yo les digo, mira, mañana te voy a enviar esa información si la tengo, si no la tengo voy a tratar de buscarla, pero ese es el tipo de persona que yo soy. O sea, yo soy una persona responsable, yo cuando digo algo, lo hago. Pero para eso es que estamos haciendo esto. Para cerrar rápido, hablé de liderato, hablé de cómo muchas personas se creen que la posición de liderato es dada con una posición, y no es así. Las posiciones de liderato y el respeto tú te lo tienes que ganar, no es dado por una posición, y algunos de nosotros se nos ha olvidado eso como líderes. También hablé que tenemos que dar ejemplo de nuestro liderato como ejemplo. También hablé de tratar a otros con respeto, como tú quieres ser tratado. También hablé de que nunca olvides a aquellos que lucharon por nuestra nación. Y también hablé que si no aguantas el fuego en la cocina, que te salgas de la cocina. Lo dije en forma de broma, obviamente, pero lo dije para que entendamos que la dinámica del liderato no es fácil. De veras, le doy muchas gracias. Si hay algunos temas que quieren tocar, por favor, déjenme saber. Me pueden enviar un mensaje privado en mi página etchingconsultation.com. También me pueden enviar un mensaje privado en Facebook. Por favor, vayan a YouTube, suscríbanse a mi canal. Vamos a traer contenido o tratar de traer contenido todas las semanas, algo diferente. Si quieren hablar de un tema en específico, por favor, déjenme saber. Estoy aquí para ayudarles. De verdad que les doy muchas gracias nuevamente. Los saludo. Nos vemos en el próximo programa, por favor. Y cuídense. Dios me los bendiga. ¿Está bien? Alright. So, I'll see you guys later.